Hello friends, today our topic will be a few suggestions for our families and teachers to cope with a hyperactive child. It can be quite concerning and worrisome for parents, caregivers, and even teachers to handle and manage a hyperactive and constantly moving child both at home and at school. With the strategies I will tell you in the later parts of the video, you will be able to handle the process much more easily. Especially in recent times, whether it is an application that you will apply to your home or used in a comprehensive behavior intervention plan, managing motor activity will greatly facilitate your work in correctly managing learning difficulties such as autism, anxiety, attention deficit, and hyperactivity disorder. What will you find in this video? Initially, I will attempt to provide a few tips for teachers. Then I will try to give tips for parents. We will close the video by making a brief evaluation about the situation and saying the final word. If you think you benefit from these videos, don't forget to like, comment, and share with friends in need. Our first topic is tips for teachers. Do not neglect to take breaks in your lessons. To punish a constantly moving child, you can take a break from playing or interrupt what you are saying. It isn't a good idea to prevent him from taking a break if it suits your interests. In fact, research indicates that depriving children of recess is a commonly used punishment for misbehaving in class. However, this is a wrong practice. Restricting a child's physical play worsens hyperactivity. Instead, allowing children to explore when they start exhibiting such behaviors will be an alternative and helpful method to improve the situation. You can internalize a hyperactive child like this. There is an energy inside you that you need to get rid of, but your teacher never lets you get up from your desk. If you take a 5-minute break from sitting like this, run a little, jump, the energy inside you will be released and you will feel more comfortable. And your listening capacity will increase. But you don't have the ability to explain this to your teacher. This is exactly what they experienced and thought. My other suggestion is to match the child with a friend. Attempt to pair the student with a classmate in order to complete their tasks collaboratively. When this companion joins them in all their classroom responsibilities, such as erasing the board, distributing papers, sharpening pencils, and potentially playing games outdoors, the child not only has the opportunity to be active, but also allows the friend to exert some influence over them. By the way, you can do a similar situation at home. Encouraging your child to accompany you while you do something, maybe filling the washing machine or taking out the clothes without drying, hanging things, helping you, can reduce their resistance to learning by reducing their restlessness. Another suggestion is to allow the child to stand or get up. Update your classroom in a way that allows students to stand. Children should be able to stand up instead of fidgeting from the tables when they need to, and sit on something like a beanbag chair if available, and continue listening there. This can also improve his sensory integration problems. Another suggestion is to use a stress ball. A stress ball or noisemaker that you will place in the child's pocket or on the corner of the table in order to ensure his sensory integration. It can help eliminate problems once again and facilitate his focus on the subject matter. My other suggestion is to encourage attention to detail. If you have asked a student to finish their homework within a certain period of time, you may have actually increased the likelihood of them making a mistake. You have the option to ask him to check again the details he missed while trying to do it, and thereby prevent any mistakes made due to carelessness on his part. Another approach is to provide assignments that demand a substantial amount of attention in smaller portions that can be accommodated within limited attention spans, rather than assigning them all at once. You will also reduce the chance of making mistakes in this way. My other suggestion is to give the child a second chance. When grading your students' work, mark their mistakes and allow them to correct these mistakes partially. After all, the main objective of our education system is not to provide them with grades or penalize them with grades. The primary objective is to educate the child. If that's the case, prioritize the incident's relevance and, if needed, seize the chance to impart knowledge to the children, even during exams. This will enable them to recognize the areas where they made mistakes and learn to pay more attention, and it will motivate them to review their work thoroughly. Another suggestion I have is to encourage taking breaks. Since children often face intense assignments and study processes during exam periods, it is important to let them move around when they have the chance. You can consider allowing them to take a short tour of the gym if it is available. You can perform stretching exercises. You can perform enjoyable stretching exercises in the classroom. Or you can make your process more enjoyable by just doing breathing exercises. Do not allow him to concentrate on the subject for more than 20 minutes without interruption. It's not possible. Plan to give longer intervals every hour. At this stage, my suggestions will benefit not only children with attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, but also all of your students. Now let's proceed to the tips for parents and gradually conclude our video presentation. Tips for parents. Especially for children with hyperactivity and attention deficit problems, I can provide many suggestions for their parents to increase their success at home, in addition to the activities their teachers do at school. The most important thing is to give positive feedback, make visual reminders, be highly tolerant of mistakes, and provide guidance with love. Promote intervals between activities and learning processes, recognizing that hyperactivity is not a result of intentional bad behavior, and thus enhancing your patience towards the child's needs and challenges can be beneficial. To comprehend why they did this, empathize by putting yourself in their shoes and seeking understanding. To provide the physical conditions that will allow them to move their bodies frequently in order to release their excess negative energy. Instead of accepting them as something they are not, start with lower expectations by acknowledging that impulse control and focus are difficult. Trying to improve the strategies you use in dialogue with teachers, both from the perspective of teachers and parents, to be more beneficial to the child with an ongoing dialogue. If there's a situation too intense to improve with behavior, or if your child has uncontrollable hyperactivity despite recommended practices, you may need to contact your pediatrician. Finally, if your doctor deems it appropriate, therapies and even medication treatment may be considered. And finally, what do I want to say? No child is identical. I've already mentioned this repeatedly and you all are aware of it. Some children need much more movement than others, and if you try to prevent it, you will experience much more attention deficit than the movement itself and encourage hyperactive behaviors. Instead of doing this, permitting students to move at least partially will enable them to have a pleasant working environment as well. None of these children are doing this behavior to make you unhappy. Even if you don't accept it, trying to suppress a hyperactive behavior is quite difficult for them. Accept this and try to react more calmly. Try to implement the suggestions I mentioned above. If you are unable to achieve adequate improvement with basic measures and guidance, begin taking the recommended steps by consulting your child's pediatrician and seeking professional assistance. See you until the next time. Take good care of yourself and your child, that is, your values.